humanity's most toxic personality, CP.
That's me. Hello one, hello all. Welcome to Weekend Live, Sunday edition, with a bit of a twist. This is like a show business with benefits, I guess. Cheers. Not my usual today. I'm drinking Dreams. 240 calories. All I could think of is what that is in the UK. Cheers. What's up, Sir Hatchporch? What's up, Marcy? Somni. Yes. See, I was equally sexist in both ways. So no matter what, it's filthy. It's disgusting, but it's fair. That's the one thing you can give me with that intro. It's demeaning to all things body parts. Hope you guys are well. I saw you guys started off in the chat, popping off about definitions of box office failures. I don't want to. Hey, Doug, over on Twitch, how are you? Twitch address, same exact thing. WILIscredia, twitch.tv/WILIscredia. And I have to blame Bob of Organized Chaos Productions and the Fandom Initiative and Dane AF and the whole lot there. Like, I didn't realize just how much the anti-woke, and I hate using that as a phrase, the pseudo right-wing grifters is what I'm gonna refer to them as, because woke is it's more about race than sex, but you know whatever. Well, if you want to call things that aren't Arnold Schwarzenegger beating the crap out of everybody woke, then I think I understand what you mean. What's up, Ryan? What is up, Nikki? I'm sure the ladies will find the shirtless dude boxing in the rain very erotic. Listen, it's implied he's wet. It's that you don't know if that's actual rain. That could be the essence of women dripping down upon him. I made that very, very filthy. I apologize. Sean, cheers. €1 from Sean. And he contributes to the Dream Fund. I have a dream, and it's to drink vanilla Coke at some point again in the future. Come on. Hey. Why is he punching in the rain? To show off his muscles. That's why. If the film entertains you, it's not a failure. Most of us don't pay attention to box office numbers. Oh, no. You see, that's what I thought. And my years of covering the nerdy aspect of the film industry would tell me that people don't really care. They make a big deal, like when Avengers Endgame they set records. That's that's a big deal. Like Star Wars, Titanic. Oh, they've got to be the highest grossing, whatever. I know certain sub communities really want their movies to succeed. Succeed. But for the most part, people care about quality of the film. I just think it's fascinating to cover the business end of it, because I literally was a part of it. And granted, I was at a low end part of it, but it was fascinating to see how decisions were made at, like, the, retail level due to the success and or failure of a film, that they had coming into, a release, and I was the marketing guy, which meant if a film was getting moved around or something was overperforming or underperforming, I was the guy talking to reps from back then it was Fox. Fox was really annoying when I was at the theater. Uh, they'd call every hour on the hour, uh, Friday afternoon asking, what are your numbers for blah? What are your numbers for blah?" And I was like, "Dude." And, I can only imagine it's certainly a lot easier now. What with digital, they might be able the movies were shown on film when I was managing the movie theater, so, I don't know if they do those phone calls or maybe they just get them via text or whatever, but whatever. Um, I had to stop watching a channel because every podcast he bitches about race changes and The Last of Us show. Yeah, that's basically what I've been introduced to, and, um, it's fiction. I've never, like, worried about something to that level, about something that I don't I don't have access to. If you're worried about the sex or race, excuse me, the gender or the sexual interest of the character, going into a movie and making your mind on just that, you're being ignorant. You're being ignorant and you have an agenda. For as much as these people, again, these alt-light, uh, film critics, uh, I use the term critic extremely loosely. Um, the only thing that like matters to them is failure of or their perceived failure or whatever fits into their narrative, which of course is that Disney mostly and or Hollywood has this agenda, and it's the same agenda that you guys have. I don't know, like it's like projection because yeah, Hollywood has an agenda. Yeah, Disney has an agenda, but you're wrong about just the context. They want to make money. And they're trying to play to every audience they can to make as much money as they can. And the more you talk about it, the more money they're making. So keep complaining about uh, a female in a male's spot and a black person in a white person's spot. Like they should for all of the granted, I'm at, like, the surface level. I sent out a tweet. I wanted to genuinely interview a a YouTube personality that talks about Hollywood and or movies and or media in the way that I'm describing, that everything's shoved down our throat with an agenda. I'm curious to hear why. Why do you come to that conclusion? And, I got no bites. I got a couple of people that responded to me on Twitter that simply regurgitated, like, talking points from some of the bigger anti-woke, geeks and gamers, quartering, so on and so forth. It's just like buzzwords and like I have over my head. Oh, they lost a ton because of the marketing. No, no, they didn't. Not every movie markets a third of their budget. Don't be silly. Do homework. Talk, Marcy. 5 Danish kroner. Uh, I'm glad the Gamergate crowd is getting on other people's nerves too. I've been bitching about them since 2019 or so and thought I was the only one. No, no, there's a ton. Again, Fandom Initiative is the group. Bob from Organized Chaos, basical, basically, man, my tongue just is not cooperating with my mouth today. Uh, Bob, Organized Chaos Productions, basically one of the pillars of this channel. He's been here going way back to the beginning. Him, like I said, Dane AF, Turf Nation. They formed a little mini group of Avengers for people who have common sense. Uh, and Fandom Initiative. Uh, but there are far more of the grifter types. And again, it's listen, if somebody were to just say there's that's where the money is, I would respect that so much more. Because I really hope that some of these people don't truly believe all of the bullshit that they spit out. Like truly, because I don't know if you've been keeping track with Kanye Hitler lately, but he's he's been on one. Yadolf. Um, there are these like, and he's getting all the attention in the world for it, and it gets clicks. It gets money, and of course, everybody diving at the opportunity to interview him, to platform him, when what he should be is isolated and not getting the coverage, and most of all getting help, because he's clearly going through some shit. But no, let's milk this cow while we can, and that's what this country is. Everybody who has a paycheck is in it to make more, and Hollywood just happens to be a conglomerate of corporations who are trying to make the most money possible. Shocker. They'll sell you on your fandom and stuff that you think you really want to see, but in the end, it's we're still a capitalist country, and they're doing things the right way. If they were shoving an agenda down your throat, they wouldn't have test screenings. They wouldn't have uh certain elements of things that you guys complain about. Um, in the marketing field, they do say that all coverage is good coverage. Um, shit, my 1982 movie top 10 list that I just put out. How many of those movies did I watch and think, yep, 40 years later, still relevant? Um, when it comes, when it comes to what Hollywood does, as far as socially speaking is concerned, is they do run parallel to social messaging and what's going on in pop culture, but for the most part, they're trying to make money. And especially it back then, when there weren't so many theaters, when there weren't so many screens, when there was no internet, when cable was still fresh, when having a movie to own and watch on your own, that that was rare. Uh, 1982 in the top 10 of the box office was Star Wars, which came out in 1977. So people just kept going back to the movies. It's a very different world. And what I said in my review, and I'll say it again now, even though you should watch it, definitely click that link, even though I don't have it handy. My 1982 top 10 and Cody Leach's top 10 from 1980, 81, and 82. If you were to release Tootsie today, just don't say anything about it. Don't say it's a 40-year-old movie. Just release Tootsie, and people would call it woke garbage. Oh, man trying to be a woman. That more trans bullshit being shoved down our throats. Yeah, man, they were so agenda driven way back in 1982. Uh, there's so much that you could if you just used your head and looked at nuance in film and I don't know, treat it as art. Uh, uh, I know that's very, very, very difficult. Um, the Fast Times at Ridgemont High, there is a unwelcome pregnancy that has some very serious, very modern elements to it that again, if it were to be released today, they would be saying that it's agenda driven woke garbage and it's not true. It's just uh, as society progresses, Hollywood mirrors that because it makes money and their audiences grow and grow and grow. I mean, hell, you could watch Friends where the LGBTQ community is mocked on a show that was very well performed. And I think it's still one of the top streaming sitcoms, but it's very not 2022. It's just art tends to adapt, but Hollywood tends to try to adapt while still making money. That has always been the case. Um, I don't know how to why that hasn't sunk in from people who are clearly doing this, like they're grifting. They know where the money is. The money is when it comes to Gamergate shit. It's just now Moviegate and Comicsgate. I'm not very well educated on comics. Please forgive me. Or any general entertainment. People like the reactionaries are all I got to make 15 videos about how nobody wants to see this thing. And it's like, dude, if nobody wants to see it, why are you wasting so much time on it? Why are you making 10 videos about how people don't want to watch She-Hulk? Moeller made a 6+ hour video on how The Last Jedi is garbage. And it's like, yeah, no, we all saw that Red Letter Media Phantom Menace video too, but they're filmmakers and educated in film. It's it's entertainment. There's satire in the Red Letter Media Plinkett videos, but they're also explaining to you why why it's not good, why it's not welcomed amongst fans. That is part of it. And I think part of it is, well, all right, so everybody loves those Plinkett videos, and it's 70 minutes, so I've gotta have an essay that's almost 3 times the length of the actual film itself. No, no. Um, Being a fan is one thing, reporting on something that you like or, you know, are competing with is another, but when they use the numbers to their advantage, they never consider variables. Hello, Dice. Let me try to catch up with the chat if I can. Hey, Felix, I only saw just now that you were in Hawaii. Um, I hope you had a good trip. Uh, it's funny what that rhyme. Blair Witch Project, 249 million on a $300,000 budget. No way that movie makes even half that nowadays. Well, that is a movie that was driven by marketing. That movie is revolutionary for the wrong reasons. This They capitalized on the infancy of the internet, and part of the draw is we love drama. We love real drama. I could certainly attest to that. Because if I were speaking about real drama right now, there'd be about 3 times the amount of you in the chat right now or watching right now. And the thought that that was actually, like, rescued footage of 3 campers was, we have this really morbid curiosity. I mean, what are some of the most popular genres of, of videos on YouTube or podcasts? True crime. There's channels devoted to true crime and shit that really happened. When it's like, all right, is fiction that bad that we've got to focus on Jeffrey Dahmer again? Again, we got to do Jeffrey Dahmer? But part of it is, if you think that it really happened, you for some reason it blows up the intrigue meter. Milo and Nick Fuentes, yeah. Ugh. Remember, CP, us queer heathens are trying to convert the children through movies and shows. Yeah, but we'll still have beauty pageants. It doesn't, like, what? What are you talking about? Uh, I follow a YouTuber. He's like me, a huge 007 fan, covers all the news in the franchise. He made a video where he attacked, excuse me, where he talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson is the new top hot take to play Bond. Hmm. I didn't know that. Will somebody please think of the children? Unless, of course, it's us. Yeah, the children thing, that whole thing is really weird. Like, that's when you're getting into politics because the movies are rated. Um, if you're concerned about a cartoon movie that has a gay couple in it, and you're worried about your children being exposed to that, um, how do you feel about a child being exposed to a movie where a sleeping woman needs to be kissed to come back to life without permission? Um, we're okay with that, though? That's the message we're cool with sending kids? And why are romance stories important to kids to begin with? I the fights that they pick are so strange. They act like Disney is just now gay. Like, guys, it's been nothing but princesses and musicals. What are you talking about? Yeah, I used to love just singing along to Cinderella, and then I'd go to uh, quickly to a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I felt as masculine as humanly possible. But now Disney's shoving this gay woke stuff in my face, and my musicals with princesses, they now dress a little different, and that's not hashtag not my Disney. I can't even. Um, I apologize. I'm just catching up with the chat. Yadolf. Yeah, that's a steal. I think Hassan Piker has said that. Glorifying Hitler, and don't forget wearing a White Lives Matter shirt alongside Candace Owens, as he refers her. Where did you get the Danish flag on the checkered ninja? I bought a bunch. It is, oh no. When I left Denmark, I wanted to, because in Denmark, ah, you just hang out for now. In Denmark, the flag is used for everything, and I wanted to take a piece of Denmark with me. So I bought a little bag of Danish flags, and that's my Denmark treated me like a citizen, even if I wasn't one. And I felt like Denmark was far more a home to me. And I did a lot of um, rebuilding personally and healing in the country of Denmark. So I try to show off as much as I can. Um, I like to consider myself Danish by proxy. Um, You were nailing everything you said before in the chat too, Jake. Everything you said prior to going live, absolutely on the money. The problems that they try to make about race, gender are actually race, gender neutral issues. Are they overpowered female characters? Yes. But there's just as many or more overpowered male characters. Yeah. The thing that I'm noticing lately, it seems to be more anti-feminist, because it seems like the anti-race ship has slowed down, or maybe that's not bringing in enough views. But there's this play to the incel tone to the way a lot of these again it, movie grifter tubers. I don't know what to call them. I'm glad I'm not left or right. It's freeing to think for oneself and not being swayed one way or another. Jim Morrison said it best. Do you know we're controlled by TV? Yeah. Yeah. I don't consider myself either Republican or Democrat. I think they're both very crazy in their extremes. I agree with some things that they say, and I disagree with things that they do. On again, both counts, but the extremities of both of them are morons. They're just the people that don't vote know what's up. uh Getting late here, so I have to bounce. Catch you on the rewatch. Thanks, Louise. I appreciate it. Um Do you think Danish movies are different with the approach of the world than other countries? Yes. Yes, I think Denmark for the most part, um, is a small market that is playing to Denmark, and every now and again, something breaks through. Lars von Trier, uh, has broken through. Granted, he's not directing movies that are making hundreds of millions of dollars. Mads Mikkelsen, another one, Danish actor, but it's not like Hollywood acknowledges the Danish part of Mads Mikkelsen. You guys have a film industry that is for Denmark. I've seen a couple of uh, Danish movies that I can't even find here. Shudder recently bought or has the American rights to what they titled small town killers, about two couples, two married couples that want to kill their significant others, and it's a dark comedy. There's also there's a trilogy of a comedy. Your comedy is, how do I say this? Denmark is much more stronger emotionally when it comes to um, humor, and a bit more over the edge than America is. America, um, a lot of jokes. I mean, like this guy right here, Checkered Ninja. I don't think you'd have a lot of parents bothered by Checkered Ninja because technically he bullies, like he helps this kid. It's hard to explain Checkered Ninja, by the way, or Turnet Ninja is what it's spelled, as Marcy elegantly did in the chat. But this little animated ninja doll helps this kid who's getting bullied by doing ninja shit and bullying the bullies, which in America we would think that's too much, but I recognize, the humor in it. And there's jokes and stuff in Denmark that are still a bit over the top, is what America would say, but um one of the happiest countries on the planet. And again, socialized, but they're not afraid to call each other certain words. Alex Jones, you think Clockwork Orange is about Jews? Kanye, absolutely. Alex Jones, Stanley Kubrick was a Jew. Kanye, oh wow. Um, let me. I'm 129 chat messages behind. Let me catch up, and Tootsie's a classic, but not talked about much anymore. Right, and that's what I'm saying. If you just re-released it, just take the script, adapt it, put modern stars in it, and don't change any elements. Do a Gus Van Sant Psycho to Tootsie. Release it today, they'd call it woke. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so before I carry on any further, because I'm gonna get lost in the chat. Um, the big thing that caught my attention is if you search for the independent film She Said about the Weinstein case, you'll see more videos about that being a box office failure than you will reviews of that movie, which, of course, they would argue. is exactly their point. But it's not really it was never really publicized in America. Um, every everywhere there are corrupt, shitty people. That there's no way around it. And the Weinstein case is quite popular. You think of something like Bombshell, that was huge. That had huge star power. You go to something like She Said, and uh, the total worldwide is $10.2 million. But if you look at like that yellow wavy whatever, it is doing as expected, as a movie with its release should be doing. I guess you can say that the bright yellow line is a little bit more on the bottom end of expected, but that by no means does that mean that it's a failure. This isn't a movie that was supposed to make $100 million. The lead actress is Carrie. What? Uh, do I have it right? Carrie Mulligan is the lead. We can go further. Again, there are variables. Everything has to be accounted for when you're talking about movie math and why a movie is or is not doing well. And marketing has something to do with it. This movie, I have not seen any marketing for. I've seen a ton of marketing for uh, the the John Wick Santa movie. I've seen a ton of marketing for Avatar. I've seen a ton of marketing for the Menu. But I haven't seen anything about She Said. I wouldn't have heard of She Said if there was no "Ha ha, Hollywood made this movie and it's a failure. It's the biggest box office failure ever." And it's like, mm, no. And it's all relative. That's the important thing too. Um, this is not a movie with a $200 million budget. Uh, you know, you're comparing apples and tar. You can't compare something like She Said to something like Black Panther. It's they're yes, they are movies. That's the only thing that they have in common. Um, Carrie Mulligan. Can I share? Uh, Apologies, I wasn't prepared to bring up an actress. All right, so Carrie Mulligan, lead actress of the film, the star power, the name on the poster, so to speak. Uh, Best known as a leading actress based on credits in that role in 10 films with $150 million worldwide. She's ranked 1009th amongst lead actresses. If you look down her career summary, she's had 10 leading roles. 10. Total domestic box office in those 10 movies is $46 million. We'll call it 47 and round up. We'll go back here. Domestic 5.6. She's overperforming with She Said. Supporting, she's been in a couple of things that have made money. Again, $200 million in 6 movies. Eh, uh, lead ensemble member, 144. Again, these numbers aren't these aren't, you know, going to move anybody to see a movie. Uh, Nothing against the actress herself. Her best known roles, Daisy Buchanan in The Great Gatsby, Carol Slayman from Public Enemies, Winnie Gecko from Wall Street 2, Irene from Drive, a great movie that didn't make money. We could debate. Actually, that is a pretty good idea. SIPO. Um, so we'll go back to this. How did Drive do? Wait, there's so this that thick golden, you know, bar. I don't know what you call that. The shaded area represents normal, you know, expected. And the bright gold bar is how this movie's performing. Again, perhaps on the lower end, but expected. Um, if you would like to see a movie that is a failure, that was also an interesting stat too. Look at where it's making most of its money. UK, France, Australia, Germany, Netherlands, New Zealand, Belgium, Israel, Sweden, Hong Kong. We we're not going to the theater to watch this movie in America. Another reason is you can watch it right now from home. I love when they don't consider the stream factor. Um, where did you go? Here, Terminator, Dark Fate, 2019. Look at the money it made. Worldwide, 250, domestic, 62. Look at that in the horn. It's not. Do you see the yellow bar? That is below expected. That is below the norm. That's below average. Terminator Dark Fate was a failure at the box office by industry standards. She said is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's not this big budget. I mean, you look at the money it made. Dark Fate made 250 worldwide. She said made 10. And that's the number that we'll lily pad jump from when it comes to talking about, oh, which numbers work for our clickbait argument. Oh, it only made 10 million. What was its budget? I literally can't even find its budget. And again, industry standards state that it's doing everything it's supposed to be doing. Terminator Dark Fate, not so much. Another quite famous one is not loading. That's how poorly it did. John Carter actually did better at the box office without adjusted for inflation. And that too, it actually for what, a little bit there? For a little bit, it was at the low end of expectations, and then it just flatlined. John Carter is an infamous failure. And again, $282 million. Domestic, 73, more than Terminator Dark Fate. But it's all relative. Look at the domestic home video sales, 41 million. That's half the box office. It it the variables need to be considered for movies like She Said, and, what do we have here? What's the one with the gay couple? Uh, Strange World? Is that it? That everybody keeps talking about how Disney completely screwed up and failed? Let's look at these stats. Strange World, 30 million domestic, which, by the way, Disney owns, as it owns the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever movie. So Disney kind of competing with itself. That's how much they're just kind of throwing this out there. Um, well, box office, how is it doing? All right, for a hot second there, it underperformed. And December 1st is what? That is not a weekend day. So December 9th, right here, that's a Friday. And then it seems like every weekend it bounces back. People aren't watching it during the week, but it gets its mojo back every weekend. The 2nd through the 4th, it's back into the horn. The 9th through the 11th, back into the horn. Is it underperforming? Sure. But if you look at the box office, it's not doing terribly. 12 million came in second on November 25th, second only to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. December 2nd, it dropped to third, 58%, which is average. Oh, Violent Night came out and took that spot. That's doing very well. December 9th, it maintained. How often do movies maintain in their third week? And it only dropped 29%. If you want to make these clickbait videos about how a movie drops 60% and it's just an absolute disaster, what would you say about a movie that only dropped 29% in its third week and p- maintained its position? Everything here is just par. Everybody just kept their place. The menu, in my opinion, should be performing better than Strange World. It's on less screens, but per theater average, lower than Strange World. Uh, Black Adam, yeah, I don't know. So Strange World in a per theater average is the fourth highest in a per theater average. The Fablemans is third because it's only on 973 screens. What is Universal? Oh, Universal doesn't want to fuck with their Violent Night money. Is that what that is? Interesting. But Strange World, I mean, again, if you want to point at one moment in time, it's there, December 2nd, going into the weekend of December 2nd. It was under norm. It was under the norms for the industry, and then it bounced back, and now it bounced back even harder this past weekend. It's doing fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. When you think of absolute disasters when it comes to box office, these aren't even in the conversation. Even when it comes to money, if you wanna argue that the money is too low on She Said is probably alright, we'll do that. Because the next argument is percentages, and percentages, there are movies out there that drop 90% in their 2nd week. She Said, full financials, where are you for 2022? It does not have I guess I have to annual box office and not count. Oh, that's the other thing too, the fact that, um, since 2020, it's just been, uh, abnormal, to say the absolute very least, the projection. You look at all of those, these are 10 weeks right here, 10 weeks into 2022, and we're underperforming just outright. All movies underperforming. And you probably get to Top Gun, and then Top Gun just kinda carries us to what should be normal. Yeah, May 27th, May is the 5th month times 4, 20, week 20. This is, alright, so where, top grossing biggest weekends, I just want top to bottom, please, thank you. Yeah, uh, nope. Can I just have 2022? There it is, complete chart. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. All right, so we know She Said Me is at 5 or 6? 5.6, did I say? She Said, right here. Encanto, which is a year old. Orphan, first kill. If you asked anybody in the horror genre, they would tell you that that movie did a quite all right. Clerks 3. That should be considered an absolute disaster because it's the third movie from Kevin Smith. One of us. E.T. What the fuck? But if you look here, some of these are recognizable. Studio 666, which was the Foo Fighters movie, did half of what She Said brought in. But again, it's all relative. How much money was put in? How much was expected? What was it competing with? Like this upcoming weekend, from what we know about the first Avatar, it should wipe the floor with every other movie at the box office, where you're going to see Black Panther go down, you're going to see Violent Night go down, you're going to see Strange World go down. All of it, just it it it's a James Cameron sequel that should tick all of the boxes for Joe Sixpack when it comes to movie going. And I think they're already shitting on that too, which is fucking priceless. That's when you know a true person who's following and an accredited film critic and somebody who's knowledgeable performing journalism about things that they have not seen yet. I love it. I love it. Who needs information? Uh, Do the Right Thing, Rocky Horror, They Live, One False Move, Stepford Wives, Blue Collar, all well-respected films that would be considered woke these days. Oh, They Live? I don't know. I think They Live with they would, even though it's projection, they would say that it's right on. They would flip-flop the They Live thing. Um, I can't spend 6 plus hours on just one topic. How the fuck, yeah, I don't know. Um I don't often care about the story, the director. The story is not the main thing. It's how well the actors and directors tell it. For me, although is stuff like Cuties I refuse to watch, which again got a bad rap. Uh, that is a French film, and oh man, that Who Would Like That series has ruined my perception of movies. Um, it's made that way. In France, they cross the line a lot, artistically speaking. They test boundaries in France with film, and that Cuties debacle was them saying, "You know what? You talk about the kids, the kids, the kids. They're growing up too fast, and nobody's doing anything about it." It actually plays into what our narrative is, but what happened was Netflix, I don't know who was thinking what is in regards to promotion, but, like, they played into the movie's message, like, it was just really, really weird, like, they proved the movie right by advertising little girls acting like adults, and again, they have banned beauty pageants for children in France. We still have them. Yeah, the anti-wokes are attacking James Cameron. Sorry, I'm 180 behind. I will try to. I think Black Christmas is trying to be woke. It's just dreadful. Other movies with a message, it's not a bad thing. It only works when it's done right. Right. Black Christmas 2019 prioritized the message over storytelling, and it was bad. It was bad because it was transparent. Most of the Pure Flix movies are transparent. Unplanned is unwatchable. I know what your message is. Uh, Stop trying so hard. The movie that people make a big stink about, or did make a big stink about, Run, Hide, Fight, it's fine. There's nothing as far as filmmaking is concerned, as far as storytelling is concerned. Why aren't people pissed off about that? A little girl in high school that manages to know exactly what to do. It's Die Hard in a school shooting, but nobody called her a Mary Sue. Interesting because the producer was The Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's own The Daily Wire. And so people on the left made a big deal about that movie, and it's fine. There's no need for the outrage. Um, but this again plays into uh, projection, hypocrisy, all of that. All right, so if these movies are woke, why wouldn't you call a school shooting where a woman saves the day? Why isn't that woke? Why isn't she a Mary Sue? Oh, because it's coming from the higher end of your messaging. Again, lots of projection. Listen, Hollywood is corrupt as fuck. Anybody who tries to tell you that they're a fan of Woody Allen's work should be canceled. No, Jeepers Creepers, even though what he did was, like, in the late '80s, early '90s, every time somebody talks about Jeepers Creepers or any of the sequels, his name gets brought up, and did you know what he did? Yeah, he did that before Powder. He telegraphs a lot of his emotions and feelings in both Powder and Jeepers Creepers 2. You get a very unique take, um, and that's but it's subtle. But, uh, to say that all of Hollywood has this agenda and they're shoving it down our throats is insane. Uh, Aladdin has forced marriage. You would not get away with that in a Disney movie nowadays. Didn't Aladdin just get remade? Different culture too. Yes, Dice. A lot of people would be shocked to find out just how many children's book authors were gay. Yeah, all those people who enjoy Frankenstein, read up on that author. Best of luck. Or the implications, of Nosferatu. I'm so far behind. You guys are talking about what's his face. If Hollywood wasn't woke, we'd still get mainstream adult comedy. That's not true. Uh, Name me the last good adult comedy. That statement makes it seem like, uh, only because of woke. When did wakeness start? And then we can talk about there being adult comedies, mainstream adult comedies, because I can contest that very easily. Whether or not they're good mainstream adult comedies is another thing. Um, I think it's important to have a voice as long as there's no call to violence. I agree. People are so divided. What we need is respectful conversations between different points of view and maintaining self control. Right. And the problem is a lot of this stuff is like the base, the entry level to things that get really, really serious. And it starts with, a teenager hearing messaging like this and thinking that this is what the world is, and it's not. You're getting all bent out of shape about fiction, and there's no objectivity to even when it comes to, like, the numbers. People say 60% objectively it failed. No, 60% is normal. If nobody saw it, it would be an objective failure. The word objective, shout out to Dane AF. Uh, he said that the term objectively is the new literally and gets misused quite a bit. Art is subjective, all of it. All of art is subjective. I hate breaking that to you. Uh, COVID's going up again, so people aren't going to the movies. Plus, we're spoiled with new movies on streaming networks. Right, right. Um, What I will be discussing, there's gonna be a year end. I'm just curious to see what Avatar does, and then I'll be doing a year in review type show business type deal where we're going to talk about things. It'll be interesting because 2020, 2021 were at least a third of what normal box office is, and we're under normality right now. But if Avatar 2 does what Avatar 1 did, between that and Top Gun alone, 2022, as far as all of box office is concerned, may be considered a just slightly off year as opposed to a down year. And that's 2 movies. Um, she said sucked, but not because of box office. Worst films have made more money. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's part of my problem. Sometimes it's the movie itself that is bad. Other times it's people aren't watching it, and here are the statistics to prove it. And they act like statistics active. That's not true. And again, it don't bring up this one third marketing bullshit with a fucking indie movie that was made for $5 million. You don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen a commercial for She Said, period. I might have seen one for it streaming now more than I have its theatrical release. Oh boy. All right. Sorry. I'm fast forwarding the chat. Apologies to all who were chatting during all of that garbage. I will stop for a super chat if there's one there. I will look up the things. The thing, excuse me. Yeah, you're telling me. All right. So the thing that was considered a failure. And if you watch, spoiler, if you watch either of Cody or my yours truly 1982 ranking, box office didn't really mean dick. And what do we have here? All-time domestic rank. It's 4,579th. Ugh. Oh, they don't have the industry standards? Ah, that's bullshit. Come on. Internationally, internationally, it made $58,876. You can get a fan film funded for that. Holy shit. 1982. That might be more like 100 grand now, but still, that's brutal. Video sales. Uh, they got this random statistic from 2010. And I guess they re-released it in 2021. Look at this. 7.4 million, 7.5 million on home, just Blu-ray sales. 2 weeks. That's very close to 15 million. Meanwhile, box office for the original release, 13.7 million. Again, 1982 numbers. I can't adjust for inflation except in my pants. Opening week at 3.1 million, and it only got 22% of its total gross. The Thing is a very hard movie to base a modern day argument on success or failure. John Carter, wait, if you can think of a movie that has come out in the last 10 years that didn't do well at the box office, but I brought it up before. The star power of Carey Mulligan. Let's see. No, not 2019's Drive. What the fuck is this? What? What? Fuck? Why is that my first option when I type Drive? They're not even giving me a choice. His best known is as Neil Armstrong in First Man amongst La La Land, Blade Runner 2049, The Big Short. Acting credits, where are you? All right, 2011. So we're going back 11 years. 81 worldwide. Internationally, it did better than it did here. And even that, again, on the lower end of the horn there, but it definitely flatlined once once what late October came around. It was the same thing. And made a couple of dollars a week for about 6 months. I know it's been out a while, but Decision to Leave in theaters tomorrow. That's a brilliant movie. Um, if you don't mind international if you don't mind reading your movies, Decision to Leave is really, really good. From the director of Oldboy. The original, not the remake. No, no, The Thing wouldn't be considered woke today, but The Thing was a box office failure by all standards. It didn't make money. Critics shat on it, and here we are 40 years later, both Cody and I calling it the best movie of that year. Amongst quite a few people who I know a lot of people that is their favorite John Carpenter movie, and John Carpenter's got quite a few bangers. And, They Live is up there. Never thought of Drive as an obscure movie? Well, it was, the only reason I associated it was because Carey Mulligan has no star power. Would every movie be considered woke? That's an excellent question. Did Disney make it? Is there homosexuality or any sort of LGBTQ elements in it? It all depends. Female leading. There was somebody who re brought up Jennifer Lawrence having an interview about her being the first actress to lead an action movie when she did Hunger Games, and I was just like, "Oh, oh, get a publicist. What are you talking about?" Thank you, subjective. I'm assuming you did the homework. I'm taking your word on this. 1,082,000 would be 3.088 million today. But yeah, the thing is one of the greatest films in my opinion. See? Yeah. I cannot stop laughing at the graphics on the website. It's like Google from 2008. Well, it's bare bones. It's just about the numbers. Yeah. Yeah. Drive isn't mainstream. JSA is one I have to get around to. I think I don't know if I intended on getting it pre-COVID. COVID pushed my shit in when it came to financially, which is why I'm going to be a reactionary from now on. From now on, I'm just gonna call every movie woke, and even though I know better, I'm just gonna say that things that are normal in box office numbers are further proof, objective proof that whatever is the hot topic is a failure. Aliens would be considered woke today? Yeah, and that's the one they always fall back on. They always fall back on Ripley. It's always Ripley, it's always Sarah Connor. Those are the only 2 they fall back on, like, well, if it was done like this." Hello, Alonzo. You missed a you might wanna go back and watch the intro because, Weekend Live is now equally spread with its, exploitation of the human form. Late as hell. No, not exactly. I saw Drive in an empty theater when it came out, but I'm used to that. I'd prefer that. I saw Halloween Ends in an empty theater in the first showing, and I was laughing. Like, it's so funny. The theater that I saw Halloween Ends in is kind of like if you're if you have sentimental value and you're in the Blumhouse camp, the theater that test screened Kills, is the same theater that nobody showed up for to see Ends. I think that's funny. It's funny, it's ironic, it's tragic, possibly pathetic, or to sum it all up, yikes. Yeah, they misuse the term woke too. That's another thing that they're using feminist, anti-male implied things as woke, and it really is just recycling Gamergate with a twist. You're talking about the original Black Christmas. Sure. Um, it's certainly right. Right. Wizard of Oz would be considered woke. Dorothy's better than all the male characters. She must be a Mary Sue. Yeah, and the other thing that, like, when they start talking about elements that aren't finances and all of this other objective shit, they'll say things like bad writing. It's clearly got bad writing. And I'm dying to have a discussion. I'm dying. Like I said, I'm open to interviewing. It doesn't necessarily need to be a debate. I know that's a big thing on the internet, especially when it comes to politics, debating, fucking owning someone. Um, but when you say bad writing, what do you mean? What about the movie is woke that's in the writing? Because you're talking like you're complaining about a a race swap, and you're saying it's bad writing. Um, that's bad casting, if anything. Um, unless, of course, in the action lines it says an insert uh, person of insert descent here is our character. But when they say vague terms like the writing, it's the writing's terrible. Give me an example. There could be cringeworthy moments. There it could unless you have a copy of the script in hand, I think it's very, very weird and ballsy for people that normally don't know anything in regards to technical aspects of filmmaking, talking about writing. You don't know if the actor thought of that on the fly. You don't know if that was in the script. You don't know if that's the director. Why are you putting it on writing? That's weird. You know what's funny? Nobody ever complains about editing. Nobody. Wanna know why? Because nobody could tell. You can manipulate somebody to feel a certain way with editing, but nobody talks about that because that would have to be taught to you in film studies. For fuck's sake. Again, where are you? If you want to talk about writing in film, this is the book. Robert McKee's Story, or as it's referred to in film school, the Bible for writers. Uh, get through this. It's probably got a see, I even have like notes. Um, it's probably got a audiobook for those of you who are like me and don't wanna look at words and maybe listen to something informative rather than pseudo hate speech on a podcast on your way to work or what have you. Is Men 2022 woke? People, anti-feminists will tell you yes. The movie is bad. It's just bad. I can understand why somebody would perceive that movie to be anti-men. I genuinely do. I can understand that. Um, but it does a perfect job of doing good by nobody, which is weird because Alex Garland both is a very good writer, Oscar, uh, and a damn good director. Annihilation, fucking hell, that movie's incredible. Um, but Men 2022 is just bad. It's bad because women would feel, well, in my opinion, again, I don't know what it's like to be a female, but uh, if if you just switch things around, I would assume it does nothing for women because it reduces the character to her trauma, and that that isn't that isn't character building that, just constantly haunted. That's somebody, that's somebody in real life, and the way that the character doesn't overcome, spoiler, uh, the arc is improper for, the female lead. And as far as men are concerned, the reason they would have an issue with men is one actor plays, I think, 14 different roles. And if you think that that movie's targeting men, your your assessment could be, "Oh, so all men are alike. That's what this movie is trying to tell you." And I can understand that. And it's something, uh, of an argument, something to discuss, but the movie just misses the mark, on all fronts. That, like, it's not worth talking about. Um, which is I will watch She Said. I will watch She Said before the year is over. I will put it in my ranking. Um, but something tells me that She Said isn't that big a deal one way or another, much like They Them. When They Them came out, everybody just spewing shit about Hollywood's agenda about the LGBTQ community, and They Them is just a movie with different people in it. It's not good, it's not bad, um, but it's progress. It if anything, much like Chucky season 2, for as much of a clown car that season is, um, it's progress in a certain direction, getting, uh, people of certain communities out into the mainstream, and that's a win for somebody who wants representation in that regard. Now it's about, all right, now make something good about that. Um, again, it's very hard to talk about movies and communities, even though I'm sympathetic and certainly empathetic to a lot of different subcultures, and I'm still the base. I'm white guy, target audience from day one, white guy, white straight male. Who am I to talk? Brie Larson does not care what I have to say. Prey was considered woke, right? Um, they complained that how is she able to overcome the predator? And again, character building, she fails. She overcomes failure with a bear. She doesn't defeat the bear, and on top of things, it's not just her that defeats the predator. And again, fucking predator, do you know what beat the original predator? Mud, not Arnold Schwarzenegger's muscles. It was wit, not brawn. That was part of the fucking message. Holy shit. Thanks for dropping in, Jake. Emily the Criminal is on Blu-ray for like $13. And not like that's the suggested price. And that's pretty close. That's pretty close to the $10 fuck it mark as far as I'm concerned. It's a pretty good movie, guys, but, uh, Jake turned me on to it, and, it's true. All Emilys are criminals. I should know. There will be no sequel to Men. Oh, Based. Bob says, "Nothing is more woke than aliens. Ripley somehow beats the aliens when the Marines couldn't." The message. Yeah. Also, like, being a mom too, like, that job's important. Come on. By the way, I thought Cody was joking in the cold open of the top of the 82 video. I didn't know he was serious about. Yeah, oh, yeah, no, that's when the next one's coming. Appreciate the comment, but we'll probably sneak out a little tease at some point. You'll have ample time to actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this to you guys, but, um, you're gonna be able to vote this time. So you're gonna know what May's 31 and 31 is, and you're going to have a hand in what we end up watching. Not entirely what we watch, but, um, we're going to have some sort of voting system for a certain element of the 31. Um, my apologies, Cody. I am going to pay dearly for that. Me and my 7% of his audience. I'm literally 7% of his audience. Fucking hell. Spread the word. Get me to 10% of his audience. Should people who didn't go to film school be allowed to be a critic on Rotten Tomatoes? Um, I think Rotten Tomatoes is shit. Rotten Tomatoes, Bob, who's educated in film and is a journalist, got denied. I think you should have knowledge of film, uh, or credentials. Doesn't necessarily have to be film school, but, um, if you're gonna critique a movie, you should be able to prove that somehow to be qualified as a critic, and a lot of people I know, um, uh, have no business being in the left half of that Rotten Tomatoes column, which is why I go by Letterboxd, because Letterboxd is people who have their own accounts. Granted, some people are trolling with multiple accounts. You're gonna get that quite a bit anyway, but, the Letterboxd average is the closest thing to what everybody's thinking, 'cause you got critics, people who should be critics, people who are Rotten Tomatoes accredited. You got, regular people, and you get to see, like, they give you statistics on the bars, how many people gave it 5 stars, how many people gave it 1 star. And the thing that I always it's a good marker for what you should expect and or look into going into a movie, is looking at the 1 to 5, the the chart. Because if it looks like, posts, a bunch of people giving it 1 star, a bunch of people giving it 5 stars, that is something that is, uh, gonna make a lot of money on YouTube talking about. In Friday the 13th, part 4, why does the guy yell, "He's killing me," as Jason is killing him? Well, because it was dark, and in case you couldn't see, he wanted you to know. Oh, right. Alex Garfield. Garfield. Garfield, of course, was the, writer and director of Men. Woke. Definition. Adjective originating in the African American vernacular, meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. Alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. African American vernacular. Do you know how many white people use the term woke improperly on YouTube? It's been hijacked. A 1962 New York Times article titled "If You're Woke, You Dig It" by African American novelist William Melvin Kelly, describing the appropriation of black slang by white beatniks. 1962. That's 60 years ago. How do you feel about this no nudity trend that's happening now in horror? Um, it's to sell tickets. Um, if they're releasing to theaters, they want a PG-13. They want um when it comes to box office and horror in particular, they want 17-year-old, 18-year 17 to 24 is their target audience. And if they can get some 16 and 15-year-olds, because I mean, when we're kids, what do we watch more than anything? I mean, if you're a horror fan, you are watching horror from a young age. And to make movies like The Nun and The Conjuring, you've got to stay a little straight-laced about it. And it's all for money. True horror is not about nudity. I don't really care about nudity if I mean, if it fits in the story, if it makes sense, then sure. Like X is the absolute perfect reason to be having people nude in that movie. It completely makes sense why people would be nude in that movie. Uh, but sometimes it's just exploiting the wants of the average 17 to 24-year-old male, straight male. And I think that is part of the problem. I think people are a little, "Hey, I I I'm not the target. I I why don't they sell things to me? They, them said I'm not attracted to they, them. What the fuck, Hollywood?" So, I don't care, to be honest with you. Uh, Equal opportunity, if anything, I would say. If you're gonna go nude, show both. Oh, there's no way to rhyme nude for two. Oh, if you're gonna go nude, make it in twos and not of the same gender. Fuck. Is Ghostbusters 2016 woke? No, not by the intended term, no, but it is bad. It is message over story. And and go ahead and say it's bad writing in 2016 and then watch the behind the scenes of 2016. There is no writing in 2016. They're all off the cuff, and it's some of their better takes were used. That's the movie we found out Chris Hemsworth is funny in, so take the good with the bad. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Black Christmas, bad. Message first, sure. But let's call out God's not dead. Let's call out unplanned. Nobody talks about the agenda behind unplanned. Um, it's just the hypocrisies uh, is the funny part. It's a grift. They get outraged to get those clicks, um, and they're doing the exact thing that they're accusing Hollywood and Disney of, and they're chasing money. And you know what? I wish I didn't have a soul because I would be doing the same thing. I would I would be outraged and act all angry and pissed that there's a gay black woman who saves the day and and Disney keeps telling me about it and no oh man nobody wants to see the gay black woman who saves the day who's also trans and a Mary Sue. Nobody's talking about that. Here's 10 more videos about how nobody cares about that that thing. I was hoping you'd appreciate that. Uh, thank you. The issue is it feeling forced versus organic. Well, that's direction. That isn't always writing. Um, that's the director's job to take the script and make it feel organic. That isn't always the script. Um, sometimes, you know, directors make a badly written movie really quite tolerable, really good. And the exact opposite. Sometimes a really, really good script isn't directed that well. Um, so organic and forced are uh, it's all forced just means sloppy execution. Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. How do you feel about Mr. H reviews? I like him, but his Texas Chainsaw review is whack. I don't know who the hell that is. Uh, those fandom menace people have got to be some of the absolute worst plankton on the internet. I actually reached out to a couple of people in efforts of doing a straight interview. Uh, and straight meaning to the point, not sexual taste. British YouTuber. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar. Uh, yeah, Marcy, I don't get along with that person at all. That person has spread very, very, very incorrect things about me. Very incorrect, ignorant things. We're not we're not we're not talking about it. Just some people don't know, that's all. Mr. H is a British YouTuber with 365,000 subscribers. He talks about movies and pop culture. Well, I guess I should educate myself. Shit. See, I yeah. Is that the real Cody? Wait a minute. It's alright, Marcy, you don't know. If you don't know, it makes sense. It was a harmless question. Oh. And that is the problem with everything we were kinda talking about today. People are avoiding She-Hulk because of the dumpster full of trash talking videos about how nobody's watching it, but it just keeps making content for YouTubers. And, from what I understand, it's alright. And it did quite alright as far as the Nielsen ratings a couple of times, which they won't tell you that. Um, it's Captain Marvel all over again. Um, Something that doesn't deserve half the attention they're giving it. I'm a 24-year-old bisexual. My boyfriend is 19, and we saw Bros this year, and we were like, "This sucks." Brokeback Mountain is a perfect example of story over message about 2 gay characters. I would disagree with you. I would say that Bros is your typical rom-com in it's just it's your typical, it fits right in that whole 40-year-old virgin, that Judd Apatow style of comedy. Again, not that all of it is good, but Bros at least felt mainstream. It felt like an Apatow movie with gays. 2 gay, well, actually more than 2. It's just a single guy who happens to be gay, on the prowl. You've seen the movie a dozen times, but, uh, this time it's representing the LGBTQ community. That's it. Um, Again, not great. You think it sucks. Um, I think it's typical of of I don't wanna say lazy rom-com type movies, and that is my issue, and that, certainly have been people close to me, their issue is, "Alright, you're representing us, now do it good. Make a good movie that, you're not really thinking." If shit, I don't know. If Rocky were somehow, well, actually, Rocky 3 is quite homoerotic in the beach scene. Um, it just pick your typical manly movie here, whatever. The Terminator. If that were about, uh, LGBTQ characters, it there'd be very, very little to argue about. But when the movies aren't like, yeah, you have representation now, but, nothing strong, just kinda meh, which, like I said before, it helps. It helps progress and get people used to, Joe Sixpack, get used to the fact that, alright, people like that exist and, um, not my bag, but whatever. But, um, it's the hate infusing rhetoric that comes from a lot of these grifters that is a problem where, yeah, I get it. You're getting your bag off that AdSense, but some of it leads to some really, really bad real life shit. And while you're ironically talking about how Disney's going after everybody's money, standing in front of a wall full of Disney toys and shit. Um, you're spitting out some things that plant seeds in developing minds, and some of those people aren't the most sturdy of minds. And again, you have to explain why, not just buzzwords. When I put out my inquiry, my blanket interview question on Twitter, all I got was buzzwords. Buzzwords. Just woke a bunch of times. Uh Bad writing I saw. Um somebody referred to Luke Skywalker as arrogant in The Last Jedi, and like that came out in December of 2017, and we're having a argument about Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi in 2022? The fuck? Get over it. I'm a Star Wars fan. Well, I think that's a rather well-made movie, and I understand the movie, the theme of the movie. It's well written and well executed. It's about failure. Luke is a failure, but that's not my Luke. Meh. Well, yeah, by that logic, then Obi-Wan should be a piece of shit to Luke by episode 4, because he didn't even want to train Luke. Excuse me, Obi-Wan should be a piece of shit to Anakin throughout the prequels, because he didn't want to train him. But then Obi-Wan was fine training Luke, his son, Anakin's son. So many Star Wars arguments where like that goes against his character. People don't understand that characters develop, and that's what an arc is, developing your character. For fuck's sake. They hear these buzzwords and they just recycle them like they know what the fuck they're talking about. And then when you call them on it, they're like, well, it made less money this week. Whoa, what's with the pivot? We were talking about characters a second ago. Mm. I can't tell. Is this the real Cody? She-Hulk was agenda driven to the point that they wrote in broken fourth wall middle finger the inevitable outrage videos during the actual show is bizarre as hell. So like they did with Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, it was like catty. Bros is on the cock. Yeah, you can stream. You could stream Bros on your cock. The whole cast of Bros is openly LGBTQ actors in real life. It's pretty groundbreaking. It is. It is. Now go make a great movie. Uh, I can't answer that. Some neat. Thank you, 5 Danish kroner from Marcy or Tak. You can argue Disney has an agenda, but I feel like they have so many projects going on that quantity over quality, which hurts the C-list superhero shows. Yeah, they have an agenda. It's called money. All of Hollywood has that agenda. They want to make money. Who the fuck thinks Hollywood is about charity? Are you kidding me? They hire people to look into what is moving certain aspects of pop culture that they can capitalize on, and they attack. They make content for that target audience, that sliver that they haven't really touched on yet. Money. It's always about money. Unless it's a fan film, then it's I'm a fan, I'm making a movie. Here's my idea. Will you give me money to make it? But if it's studios, the bigger the studio, the more it's about money. I mean, shit. The whole HBO Max deal is it smells like shit. It is so stinky. They have a completed movie and they're trashing it for tax reasons. And then the reactionary people are talking about how it's terrible. It's so bad they canceled its release. That's insane. It's done. Just quietly release it on your streaming service. You have one of those. It costs you nothing more than hard drive space or server space, whatever the fuck it is that they do in those them dare streaming computers. What do you mean the Rocky franchise is straight? Yeah. I want more manly movies without gay stuff, like, the original Top Gun. Right. I have to see on my end, I can't tell if that's my mod or not. Uh, and mm, sorry. I need to make sure fucking giving a platform to somebody that is an idiot. Oh, oh, it is Cody. Sorry. uh Poorly done representation. What are you talking about? Haven't you seen Chucky season 2? I did speak about that. It's represented in every way possible. Yeah, he was joking. Wait, what? Cody brings a good point. I'm getting tired of artists trying to head off outrage by repeatedly breaking the fourth wall to preemptively address it. Just saw a stand-up special like that. I don't know what stand-up special you're talking about, but Don Mancini has been it's not just this last season. Don Mancini has been out for well over a decade. Well over a decade. I'm open to anything as long as it's not to the point where when I watch something, I feel like I'm having a finger jabbed in my forehead every 5 seconds and being told what a piece of shit I am. Is the story good? I've said this 1,000 times. If you make a good movie about what a piece of garbage Charles Patterson is, I'll watch it. Is it an engaging story? Fuck it. All right, well, eh, I don't know why you feel like you're a piece of shit watching movies. You shouldn't be watching movies, fiction, especially if it's fiction. Why do you feel like you're a piece of shit? Unless there's lines in the movie where they say, "Ah, anybody who watches this is fucking a piece of shit." Um, if you're taking offense to things that are happening in the movie and you're taking it like you're being jabbed in the forehead, uh, it's an interesting way to put it, but I know what you're saying. You're saying, story over message. I'm late to the argument. I used to watch channels that crapped on Star Wars until I realized these were the only videos they made. This subject is similar. Yeah, I didn't realize that till just now. She-Hulk handles it better than Ghostbusters 2016. Well, it still it's kinda cringy. Well, I wouldn't be able to ban Cody. Cody's got a wrench. So, watching Last Jedi made me feel like I was Bond being tortured at the end of Casino Royale. Why? Again, why? Explain to me why. It's a cute analogy that you came up with. I get it. Humorous line, but explain to me what about it made you feel like you were being tortured? What? I love the original Sex and the City, but the reboot is so political I can't even watch it. Yeah. I have no frame of reference on either end. There is no censorship. If anything, the censorship is coming from the side that you'd be surprised. They just took women's rights away in 2022, so I trying to avoid real life shit, but there's not really censorship. There's just socially awkward, unacceptable. Escapism in cinematic experiences is becoming extinct. You have so many choices. There are more movies this year than there were 10 years ago, and that'll keep growing because it's easier and easier to make movies now. It's just the mainstream stuff is gonna try to target as wide an audience as possible, again, to make money, and if you don't find yourself within that spectrum, you're just gonna have to do a little bit extra work to find that escapism. I understand. Trust me, I understand. There have been plenty of times where I've wanted to watch something and it not be that, but, you know, Hollywood isn't against all of everybody's nostalgia and what everybody's wants and needs are. If you feel like you're being targeted, stop using your money. Don't buy products from the company that you do the thing. Don't make 10 videos which are actually by proxy giving it more attention. Ignore it. You have to Hollywood, businesses only realize that they're fucking up when they lose money. And that's just not the case. And there's no censorship today. uh, in American-made films. Mark Burns, $5 super chat. Thank you. Last Jedi sucks, but of course, to each his, her, however you identify own. I appreciate your channel. I appreciate your super chat, Mark. I appreciate your honesty and exactly. All opinions are our own. That is the only thing that is objective about art. That our opinions are ours, and um, they'll all usually be varying and different, and that is subjective. I don't think studios are spending millions of dollars out of the kindness of their hearts to make movies. That's exactly my point. Uh, no, it's not $90 million down the toilet. Yeah, I can't understand why they didn't just stick Batgirl on HBO, $90 million toilet. No, they they canned it because it's a tax write-off. It's not 90 million down the toilet. They get their investment back. So rather than I I'm assuming, listen, I don't know the the return on investment, like the pre-production at, like, I'm not educated on. Uh, they must have people that figured they wouldn't make that money back on that movie, or it had no future, or what. It's just that's how you lose fans, though. That is that. If listen, there's probably not many, but there's probably quite a few Batgirl fans that heard that and were like, "What the fuck?" And the right move in that situation to let HBO Max know that they fucked up is unsubscribing to their fucking whatever, their streaming service, and maybe not follow certain moves that they make. Good old, "What the fuck" tweet never hurts. Yeah, on the streaming thing, I can't see wrenches, so that's why I wasn't sure. $2, Michael Parton, thank you. Do you think The Flash will bomb hard at the box office? I think The Flash will get the same treatment, which, first of all, speaking of treatment, holy shit. If you're talking about somebody that needs treatment, it is the star of The Flash. Um, it will get the Bohemian Rhapsody treatment, the good old undirected Bohemian Rhapsody treatment, if they do end up releasing it. I'm curious, that might be something they scrap and or move to streaming. Um, it's a different situation, but it's kind of like Yadolf and the companies that are dropping him for his actions. Not quite. I mean, Kanye's just talking and spreading his rather dangerous rhetoric around. Um, this is somebody who's doing physical harm. Um, I, if they end up releasing it, they're gonna glaze over every fact of his participation in the movie, which is going to be hard. I don't think it's going to I think they might push it to streaming because I don't know what they invested in that project, but it's doomed. No matter what you do with it, you're in trouble, and unless you reshoot everything. I mean, there was that Kevin Spacey movie that they reshot that ended up being just a waste. Like, all of it was a waste. Do I think the social commentary in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 22 is really weird? It's a movie of 7 foot tall, mentally troubled man carrying his foster mom's face and kills people with a chainsaw. Um, n- mm, Social commentary. That's a movie that if there's social commentary, the movie's not strong enough for me to give a shit. I remember watching that and thinking, "Yikes." Candyman was probably considered woke. Well, you could talk about either of them. Why does the villain have to be a black guy? I mean, it's gotten there are some corners that get that serious. Um, Nothing like the original is my thoughts on the 2021 Candyman. They sure did drape Jordan Peele's name all over that thing though, didn't they? For the record, guys, when you see somebody's name and then you see producer, that don't mean shit. They're trying to sell a name. And again, that's star power. As far as filmmaking is concerned, Jordan Peele will sell tickets. Um, what we were talking about before with She Said, that there's no star power in that movie. I'm talking about when a comedian, filmmaker, musician, etc., spends the majority of their time addressing detractors instead of making good art. For instance, Sebastian Maniscalco's new special. I have not seen Sebastian Maniscalco's new special. Um, hmm, I quite enjoyed his other work. That's interesting. Bill Burr does a fantastic job making everybody look stupid. I think Bill Burr. It I'd like to say I'm somewhere in his little gray area there. Um, that these people are crazy and so are these people. Now let's joke about both of them. And he does a masterful job of doing that. Half of his special is now this is going to offend some people, but gets old very fast. I don't know if that's was he an executive producer on that special? It could be Netflix. When you're, I mean, I can't tell you how many comedy clubs. It'd be weird. I'd have to alter my set to the area. Um, when you're paid, freedom of speech isn't exactly the same as just walking down the street. Um, Companies can do what they want with their money, and they can dictate certain things. And I really don't want to be discussing real life shit because again, it played out in in real life if you followed Adidas, what their decisions were, with the things that are happening on Twitter. That's a company that is about freedom of speech that is restricting a lot of people. Um, that is, their right as a corporation. It's very different. I've had to manipulate jokes that I've said due to certain comedy clubs, uh, rules on subject matter and words that they did not want being said in people's sets. Um, so it's hard to that he might have had to work something out with Netflix. I don't know how, socially friendly that Netflix is trying to be, especially on the tails of, the David Chappelle stuff. Movies were better 10 years ago. Just all of them. You realize COVID happened in 2020, right? And that, not everybody has rebounded yet. It's such a vague blanket statement and subjective. Subjective. Movies were better 10 years ago. Well, movies were better 10 years before that. That's a pretty good point. If you're going into a movie looking for something, you're going to find it. Go in open-minded. Not everyone is against you. Right. Right. My criticism to the woke is that it sometimes comes off as lazy and insincere. That is not woke, though. Woke would be see, the term's been used so much, it doesn't have it doesn't make sense anymore. Lazy's lazy. You're trying to be socially acceptable, but you're just cutting corners. You're being a Herbert is really basically it. Let's start using that term instead of woke. If you think something is lazy and insincere, just Herbert. What is more lazy and insincere than a Herbert? A Catwoman was shit. Directors that used actual film had to think hard before they literally cut and edited their films. I feel that's why the great ones are few and far between. I don't entirely agree with that. Um, Peter Jackson, it seems like he never edited anything, especially when it came to the Lord of the Rings movies. Dude, you can cut some of that walking out. We know. The Last Jedi shit on Luke. Snoke was completely wasted. Annoying decisions by all the characters. Bad fight scenes derailed the new trilogy. I will. Here's what I'll give you. The Last Jedi is its own movie. It is not. It starts and it finishes. It does not. It's not The Empire Strikes Back. It's not Attack of the Clones. It is its own movie. Uh, that is a complaint I have about The Last Jedi. It doesn't shit on Luke. It explains why Luke is the way he is. Imagine if you've been around that much dark side in the Star Wars universe. You're the son of somebody who slaughtered millions, who basically is responsible for the end of what it is you're practicing. Your nephew, you feel like he's doing more of that. You would feel burnout. You would get cynical about things. And again, it just progresses his character. He got old and crabby. If you follow Obi-Wan from 1 Phantom Menace through what is 6, even his ghost, um, his decisions aren't again, I will say it again. Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace didn't want Anakin trained, and he didn't want to train him, but he did it because Obi-Wan asked. He was reluctant, just like Luke reluctantly came to save the day at the end of Last Jedi. Snoke was completely wasted. I will give you that. Uh, Especially considering they made it seem as if that there was going to be this big deal with Kylo Ren, and I don't know. Again, it wraps up like it was the end. That is the one credit I will give to people as far as the trilogy is concerned. That movie sticks out like a fucking like a lump. But other than that, The Last Jedi is it's its own movie at following a theme of failure. I don't know that the Flash's Ezra Miller problem is known to the general public or if it's just an internet thing. My mother doesn't know who Ezra Miller is, but she doesn't go to the cinema. It's a gamble. One way or another, it's a gamble. I mean, they got rid of Amber Heard. Well, that was certainly a much, much bigger deal. No, no. Personally, I like nudity in my slashers. I don't watch porn. It just feels dumb as fuck. Again, I'm an 80s kid. So wait, by the clarify that because you're making it sound like the only way you jerk off or get off is by watching people nude in slashers. So is that what you jack it to? People who are naked and getting killed? You might want to talk to somebody with a much higher degree of intelligence than me. When the second trailer for the new Super Mario movie released, everyone was calling it woke because it showed Princess Peach not being helpless for about 10 seconds. Ridiculous. Can't wait to see the new movie. Yeah, if you played Mario 2 back on the Nintendo, fucking Mary Sue. That is. Yes, Bad Santa is hysterical. Bill Burr may be the best. Yes, right. The best working comic today. A lot of times I think people agree with the woke message. Again, we're misusing the term, I think. They just don't want to be lectured about it. Right. So that means the message is too heavy. The it's Black Christmas 2019. Black Christmas 2019. It's uh uh God's not dead. You know, you have a very clear message that you want to tell, not a story. You're not here to tell us a story. You want to speak to a very specific certain people that you're basically making a yes man movie to. I'm gonna assume that Charles Patterson is your 3rd favorite comedian of all time? Um, there's nothing wrong with a movie being woke. Woke by definition is not a negative thing. The only problem is using it to hide from criticism, especially if it comes off as lazy, pandering, or hateful. Right. Grifty. Grifty, grifty, grifty. Woke is when I get my coffee fixed. That attaboy. No, it's just, what was it? Lazy? Just lazy and pandering? You know, just a lazy name, that's all. Um, no. Um, I think a lot of the problem is too many writers are injecting themselves into the characters instead of creating actual characters. Have you watched a Tarantino movie? Tarantino, or, Aaron Sorkin movie. You if you know their voice, you know their voice in a lot of movies, especially Aaron Sorkin. Every Aaron Sorkin movie is so snappy with dialogue, and people are snarky with each other in the exact same manner. Um, it's not entirely that. I understand what you're trying to say. It's very hard to create a character that you can't relate to, because you have to create characters that are relatable. It's a incredible paradox. Again, Robert McKee's story. Invest in it. I know why there's no nudity in Jason Lives. I've made both of those points, Alonzo. You should watch my Savage Cinema on Jason Lives. I make both of those points on Jason Lives. Um, the reason there's no nudity is Darcy DeMoss was supposed to have a nude scene. The sex scene in the RV was supposed to contain nudity, but they had a bit of an issue with the um, contract, and they kind of like last second asked her, "Hey, by the way, can you do this nude?" And she was like, "It's not my contract." And yeah, I guess they didn't wanna pay for tits. So, that is why there's no nudity. It was merely a mistake. Uh, 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 an office keeping mistake. So somebody with the paperwork fucked up. Odd, very odd. And yeah, yeah, there should be more. Well, kids are pain in the ass as far as actors are concerned, and that's coming from a former kid actor. Ugh. The debate is old as dirt. I don't think the issue with Luke in Last Jedi is not the failure of the movie making sense of the direction they took him. It's the direction itself that's unappealing. Oh yeah, no, it in hindsight, I can understand it. But when people say that it's not Luke, that it makes me frustrated, because how do you know? What do you know? Luke could have turned to prostitution 20 years ago. We're checking in on the guy 40 years after the last time you saw him. All not it, it people complain that everything was too samey about Force Awakens, and then you get something different in The Last Jedi, and again, everybody's all pissed off, and it's just I so mentally checked out of Star Wars fandom after The Last Jedi, and it was just like, "All right, one more," and that movie just kind of Hollywood, Halloween ends into yeah, they're retconning their own shit. I don't know how a trilogy as sloppy as Star Wars 7, 8, 9 can be so sloppy, yet still be more engaging than the prequels, or or better made, should I say. Some people like seeing the realistic direction they put him in. Others just wanted their hero to stay the hero, especially after The Force Awakens teased his return so hard. Yeah, it was kind of a the one like when he throws the lightsaber over his shoulder. That's the first action he makes. It's just like the fuck. You could have given us a little lead into that. That shouldn't have been his first action in The Last Jedi. We have this discussion quite a bit. Um, it's an interesting question. Asking for a friend, will the erotic thriller genre ever come back? I need more movies like Wild Things. Asking for a friend. Yeah, Emily and I were discussing this, that stuff like Basic Instinct, um, Fatal Attraction, shit like that. Uh, eh, The Specialist with Sylvester Stallone. It seemed like that was Sharon Stone's exclusive job in Hollywood, was to be in erotic thrillers. Um, Malice, I would call an erotic thriller. I don't know why. It, the we're all grown-ups. It's strange. You would think they'd be able to do it, but I don't know. We used to call them just Skinamax movies, but it it is an interesting question. There appears to be no interest in that subgenre. CP, you would know. Wait, what? Are you are people who hate Last Jedi a majority or a vocal minority? Oh, I would say a majority. Again, that Rotten Tomatoes shit, left, right, look at Letterboxd, not Rotten Tomatoes. Letterboxd is everybody, and look at the chart. And again, if you see too many fives and ones, you're like, you just take both of them away. If you have two pillars at either end, then that's just people review bombing. But no, I think the hatred for Last Jedi is a majority. Also vocal. Charles Patterson's my first after. You can have a message in a movie like Black Christmas in '73 stirred the abortion debate, but didn't shove it up your ass for the sake of story. Right. Horror has always been that way. Um, social commentary that is subtle. Uh, and that was right after Roe versus Wade, Black Christmas. So it, it was something that was present. If you watched that movie back then, it was you know mirroring some real life social shit. and it handled it in its story, and yes, we can pick 50 movies where they handle messaging far better than others. But yes, I agree. Nobody uses woke to hide from film criticism. The only people who really use the term are the people complaining about it nonstop. High five. That is a fact. Aaron Sorkin's dialogue drives me nuts. He's got tics that I've figured out. And as a comedian, like when he does joke lines, it bothers me. Because he'll do back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, funny line, back and forth, back and forth. Stop. Wait, did you just? And they always cruise through the joke line, but then the second party, 4 or 5 lines in, stops and says, "Wait," and references the joke line, and then it's just like it's a fucking it's a cliche at this point. There, Aaron, your Highness. I love Joe Carnahan. I quite enjoy everyone. Well, most of his movies. Will you make a stream where you're talking about your favorite directors? Yeah, if somebody else will join me. Yeah, I tend to have a bit more fun bouncing off of people and cutting people off as I tend to do because my brain is broken. We need more Shannon tweeds. The fact that you know her name, the fact that I know her name. Mm. Thoughts on the new Candyman? Plain. Didn't move me one way or another. It was like in the 40s for my yearly list. It was in the middle of the 70 movies I saw. I think it was high 40s. It didn't wow me at all, and I certainly didn't think it was woke. Because again, if you think that Candyman's woke, then the fucking first one is too stupid. Wait, why did this reset again? This fucking app, man. What if Magic Mike had been an erotic thriller? That would have been nice. My favorite Carnahan movie is A-Team, if not Smoking Aces. And I'm not being ironic when I say the A-Team. I love that movie. I know that name now. I feel old. Yeah, she actually got a break as well, not really, I guess, because she was in Me, Myself, and Irene, and she was the mother breastfeeding, and of course, we got a Shannon Weary moment. Yes, I have seen The Founder with Michael Keaton. You can hear my thoughts if you watch my list from 2017. That's the year it came out. The list 2017. I don't know where I put it. I don't know what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I thought it was pretty good. Instead of, "Do you like Hitchcock? Do you like Carnahan?" Whoa, 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 whoa. Carnahan's no Hitchcock. Does it surprise you we're getting a Friday the 13th show before a movie seems like wasted box office? I can't express how confused and insecure and cynical I am about the Friday the 13th television series brought to you by A24. Um, again, coming from a Friday the 13th fan, the franchise that is notorious for lack of character development. They're going to do the TV series thing, the thing where they take time to develop characters. That's like you're basically rebooting everything within the franchise then. Uh, I really hope I'm proved wrong or corrected or whatever. I mean, just like I didn't want Dexter last year, I ended up watching it anyway. I mean, obviously, I'll be watching Friday the 13th whenever the fuck it comes, but, um, I have I have nothing but confusion and questions, um, when I don't know. I don't know. Clearly, they can't fit a Jason idea into 90 minutes. That that's the one thing that I've kind of assumed from all this, that they're like, "Ah, fuck. What we don't know what to do." I saw it Jimmy Hollywood, I saw forever ago. I don't remember. Character development's hardly a bad thing, be a first for a Friday. Yeah, I know, and I don't know how I feel about that. Again, it the other thing that bothers me is it sounds like they're making my movie. If I were to have money, I would make a Pamela prequel, and it sounds like they're making a Pamela into Jason prequel series and a base motel of sorts, and that the person in me is if they do that, I'm gonna be more, like, hurt, jealous, and offended and really feel stupid for not getting I don't know, not like I had money to make it anyway, so what the fuck am I talking about? Or getting the idea into a script at least. Alpha, Mike, Foxtrot, adios, mother. Did they get to use fuck for once? I know they cut off on one of them. Better comedy, There's Something About Mary or Me, Myself, and Irene? There's Something About Mary. Can't be any worse than Chucky season 2. I finally watched. Don Mancini confuses me with his decisions, and he's ready to make more. How is that for confusing? Yeah, Something About Mary is fucking legendary. Uh, holy shit. So, some of the stuff that people it it comedy and horror both age poorly, and without something like There's Something About Mary, there's elements of The Hangover that you wouldn't have. There's elements of shit, even American Pie that was pretty close to it. Uh, but yeah, A Pamela prequel, You Have My Attention. I could give a monkey's ass about Jason, to be honest, in a TV series, a movie, yes. The Live Free and Die Hard, the F-bombs on Fox. I thought so. I do remember that. Bastards. You got one, use it. Actually, I don't think they could say motherfucker because it implies a sexual act. It's weird how language is determined in the MPAA. Has Chucky been renewed yet? No. No, but don't you worry. Don Mancini's got a plan for a third movie if the folks at Universal don't renew his television series that Universal owns the rights to. I sure hope that Don Mancini really went through some court shit, because if he thinks that Universal is going to say, yeah, no, you tanked on television, but here's money to make a movie instead, I think he's going to be really, really in for a surprise. If that idea worked, prepare for a Michael Myers childhood TV series. Yeah, it's called Rob Zombie's Halloween. Right. Right. And that, again, that's what I can't stand about people on the left being too sensitive. It's fiction. It's fiction. For the same argument, I'll say, what's the problem with a person of a certain color or creed or fucking gender? What does that have to do with anything? Why does that bother you? I'll flip it and say, what does a fictional person doing something, saying something, why should that bother you? It's fiction. So it does say that's not your deal. Okay. Let other people enjoy it. Fuck. CP just wants to throw in that I found your channel through Cody Leach and I love your content, and what I've seen of your stand-up is hilarious. Highly enjoyed your best year in movies 1999 series. I appreciate that. Spread the word. If we can get each of those episodes to 1K views each within the next 20 days, I'll do a sequel series to 1999. And 1982 is in consideration. There's a couple of 80s movies that are in consideration. There are a couple 90s movies in consideration, but I appreciate it. Yep, that's the real Cody, all right. Dude, why do I only have 7% of your audience? What the fuck? I don't like zombies' direction to Halloween, but it's something different at least. Yeah, sure. You can't argue that. It's something in the beginning, it's something different, and in the end, it's kind of 78. I already started replaying the later month to get them there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. September, October, November are especially low. I think November is like it's gonna take a miracle. Um, there's a part of me that, I mean, obviously, I want to do it, but I just want to, when I recruit other YouTubers to join in on this, yeah, I want to sell them on more than just the idea that, you know, there's there's small timer YouTube interest in it. because, because you haven't paid your audience whoring tax in full. Yeah. I thought for a second he said that he had followed your channel since '99. No, 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 no. No. November is low because I wasn't in it. Avi. I don't know. That might be the one that I have no guests. So I think the problem was September, October, September, uh, December was so heavy. And I was like, uh, does anybody want to talk about Toy Story 2? Anybody want to talk about Pokemon? Please? November is low because I just I think November uh with apologies to probably Cody, who was probably the only other person in the November episode. November is light on uh varied experiences. Somebody said that they appreciate that the 1999 series isn't just reviews, it's more personal experiences from people they wouldn't normally hear those types of experiences from. And I was like, that's exactly you got my exactly what I wanted to do. You got it. Thank you. Now tell 1,000 of your friends quick. CP does stand up. Where could I find this? Yeah, I quite for quite a while. I haven't done stand up in 5 years now, but um I was a professional comedian. I've worked with some of the bigger names. I used to be able to use open for Louis CK on my resume, but that doesn't look so good anymore. Lewis Black, I work with Lewis Black. Dane Cook. I'm not retired yet. I haven't officially waved the flag. I'm on hiatus. I'm on a sabbatical. But yes, um, I think channel you'll find at least one. I think my porn bit is on the channel and the road signs bit is on the channel. And I'd love to talk about another bit that I sold to a sitcom that I cannot talk about because I didn't technically write it. Just like I didn't technically see Halloween Kills 2 years before everybody else. That whole 1999 series was great, watched them all, but didn't leave comments, which I probably should have done. Yeah, that would have helped. Thank you. At least you realize that yeah, the interactivity is crucial on YouTube. Um, chats, I'm not chats, comments and thumbs is what makes YouTube spread that shit. And genuinely, it's support, obviously showing somebody support, but uh, when it comes to YouTube recommending that, that's part of the equation. How long, how much time are you spending on the page outside of watching the video? And I have yet to master any of that shit. I rewatched Top Stream 33 on 31. The funniest part was when Brian picks up a lemon and you just ask Brian, "Is that a lemon?" And Sean and Cody look weird over at Brian. Yeah, Brian's an interesting bird. Brian so Brian hand delivered, uh, whatever was left of our luggage to Emily, and I cannot be thankful. She said, "He's tall. He's even taller than you." And I was like, all right, it's enough talking about the guy I argue with for a living." Anyone here for a 3-minute? I'm here because CP asked me to do this intro for the next series. Yeah, the 1999 series might as well be 1999 as mostly seen through Cody Leach's eyes. No, but if I do it again, I had fun, and people that took part in it expressed their. Yeah, I know it's a decent idea. I rarely do I really suck myself off, but it's different. It's unique. It's not movie reviews, which I myself am tired of. It's what. Never mind the movie, how good the movie is. What does it mean to you? I mean, you can do a review if you want, but um, I have interest in doing it again. I really do. I just want to make sure that all that work and effort um, leads to something. And by that I mean not Cody dragging m- me and the series for fucking 8 out of 12 episodes, uh, for as much as I'm grateful to Cody for contributing as much as he did. Um, you know, let's get a let's get somebody who's a makeup YouTuber who thinks Tootsie is a great movie, or Tootsie means a lot to them because that's when they figured out that they wanted to be a makeup YouTuber by watching Tootsie in 1982. What the fuck? I said before, Marcy, probably with other people, but yeah. Oh wait, it fucking skipped again. You fuck. You fuck. Shit. No, no. I know I owe you $20. What the fuck? CP stands for Charles Patterson. That is my name. It was my nickname for quite a bit, and then the internet made those 2 letters together very, very unclean. Why is it not working? No, it's fine. Even if you just drop a yo, it actually helps, believe it or not. You don't have to go back and leave comments on everything, but just a yo, thumbs up, or hey, this sucks. As someone said on all top stream, CP or giggle could cure depression. See, that's why I need to talk to other people so that they make me laugh. I agree. 1999 is a good movie year for me. Green Mile, Cruel Intentions are my top 10. Yes, I prefer Green Mile to Shawshank. Interesting. And Cruel Intentions is nostalgia. Saw it years ago and a 3-star movie at best. Nostalgia is such a punch in the dick, isn't it? That was The Gate for me. I thought The Gate was one of the greatest movies ever. And then I watched it as an adult and I was like, the practical effects are still pretty good, but this movie is very, very child driven. And I am not that. That is one of the years that is in consideration, especially considering the Shawshank reference. Okay. It's been 3 hours, and I think I got my point across, but it's not gonna solve anything. There will be a show business year in review type stream that I'll do. I'm getting some of other YouTubers together, like Cody. Cody might be here for more than 3 minutes. But I'm really curious to see what Avatar 2 does, and then kind of base the discussion on the year after that. But yes, there's a new produced video on the channel. Both myself, I was tagging along with Cody. He's going through all of the years in the 80s, ranking his top 10. Asked me to join him this time around, and I did just that. And that video is live as of Friday. You can check out my top 10 movies from 1982. And there's a bit of an ulterior motive. If you want to see a sequel to the 1999 series, spread the word. Get some views on it, especially in the autumn season. I've been here the whole dream, bitch. I'm listening to you ramble while I shoot monsters. Wait, am I your fucking wait? Are they monsters? As long as you're not doing any of the running through people made of ash, I'm okay with that. How can you listen to me while I can't listen to me while playing video games? Jesus. Having said that, go check out Cody. Game Chamber is his other channel, which is halfway to my fucking subscriber channel, which is subscriber number, excuse me, which isn't at all demoralizing. I think he just came up with it like last week or whatever. So I'm very proud of my friend Cody. He succeeds at everything, and that's good. I'm gonna go run into a wall now. Like really, really, really fast.